Hey Ben, did you watch the game last week?
I did live in person.
Well, unfortunately,
So right now, we don't know a lot about Western Kentucky.
let's let's get the shenanigans over. We got work to do. Hello and welcome to March to the Pod, presented by Eternal Roofing, at least until this episode's over. It's roofing you can trust with your home, just like you trust us with Bearcat Sports. This is season 3, episode 7. Bearcats are bruised, little bruised ego. Will they bounce back against UNLV? That's what we're talking about today. I'm your host, producer, once banned, never muted, catfans.com member Cory Hogue. I'm on social media at Cory Hogue Sports, CORYHOGUE Sports, and check out Substack. You're going to be surprised to hear this. It's Cory Hogue Sports, CORYHOGUE Sports.substack.com. You'll find things from non-FBS, and you know what? I'm going to start posting this podcast. It's my page, Ben. I can do what I want.
You can. I'm excited to see it there.
That other voice you hear, that is the wizard behind Sports of SHSU on Twitter and Instagram. It's all one word. The COO of the Cat Fund, proud Bearcat himself, Benjamin Sorrells, and we just don't have time for my shenanigans today, Ben.
There's so much to talk about.
As much as I would love to troll the burnerverse on another day of the week and live rent-free inside their head, I entered Saturday.
Right now, we don't know a lot about Western Kentucky.
I kind of felt that way Saturday, to be honest with you.
What was your score prediction going into it?
I had say we'll get into that later. Actually,
Yeah.
I still have those down at the bottom of the script. But I had Sam covering. You were almost right on there last week. Let's see. I had
42-28 and it was 41-24.
Yeah, you had 42-28. I had 30-23. I thought it would be a little more low scoring. I was wrong as usual and always. But we don't have time for my shenanigans for one reason. The owlsdaily.com and Casey Keeler took care of shenanigans for us this week. He had some comments to owlsdaily.com that was published on Sunday. Odd time, right after Sam Houston and Longo takes the first loss in the Longo era. But let's dive into some of these and really just kind of talk about them here for a couple of minutes. Keeler said, quote, "So I went in and sat with him." He's talking about Bobby Williams. "And it wasn't our habit to have weekly meetings or things." I know that too. I had one and got canned. So for him to want to sit down and have a conversation, it was something going on. He goes, "It might be time for you to leave." I'm like, I had a girlfriend tell me this once. It's not you, it's me. I think we've all been there. But the point was, he was like, "We're not going to be able to give you what you deserve in terms of your salary, coaches' salaries, NIL money. There's going to be some job opening up. I know in the past you've sort of, kind of looked, right? We know that. Texas State was a real flirtation." Keeler goes on later on in the story, another quote here, "But I understood where Bobby was coming from. I probably was going to start getting frustrated. I saw what we did, and I knew it was going to be tough to repeat year after year because I wasn't going to have the resources." And that's what he was saying to me. We can't give you the things. Sam Houston is on a mid-level FCS budget. They're not on an FBS budget. So those struggles were hard, but we accomplished it. But he wanted me. I think out of fairness to me, I know we should try to grow this thing, but we're going to try to do a stadium, and that's going to really limit our opportunities to raise any money for anything else. So he was honest with me. That's the end of that quote. Benjamin, I I didn't hear anything we hadn't already talked about.
Yeah, and I think it does peel back the curtain a little bit on the move. Some people were thinking end of his career, wanted to go back home, finish things out there, which was half of it. But I think this conversation with Bobby from Bobby was facilitated because Keeler was asking for things, and I think Bobby realized they weren't going to be able to get him those things, and it had become a common theme. The biggest one, assistants pay. Obviously, the NIL situation isn't really where it should be for Sam Houston. So I think it peels back the curtain a little bit on the two factors that led to Keeler moving to Temple, which was wanting to go back home, but also the resources just weren't there, and they never were going to be there during Keeler's time here.
Are they even available? I always say, Ben, I've talked ad nauseum. We've talked ad nauseum about funding the last 3 years. And I always say, people got to give, but you can't get anything out of if you don't have the people to give. Is the funding base actually there?
I think it's there, but it's not there to the degree that it should be. I think there's more to tap into. But even if it's tapped into, it's not going to be your top of the line G5 kind of school. And to hit on his budget point too, I went and looked, I think it was on Monday. If where we are right now budget wise was in the FCS, I think we'd be number 12 or 13. When we moved up, I think we were like 20 to 25. So when we made the move, we were kind of a mid-tier FCS budget, to his point. And I don't think it was ever going to be really what he needed or what he wanted from the school he was at. And knowing what Temple has in NIL and resources there, it is exponentially more than what he had here.
Oh, it's a private school. He's in a much better situation. He's got to deal with snow. That sucks. But did you find anything? Is there anything to glean conspiracy theory? We all love, everybody loves conspiracy theories. Is there anything to glean from the timing of this coming out the day after Sam Houston lost on linear television?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it had anything to do with it. I think it's just a thing that their beat guy wanted to talk through a week before their season. And I think he started the article with, we've heard all the reasons why Keeler wanted to come to Temple, but we haven't talked about why he left Sam Houston. So I think it's just kind of rounding out the coverage on your new head coach before they start up their season.
Well, Mr. OwlsDaily.com, it's not your damn business to know why Keeler left. Anyway, enough of that. Hey, let's listen. Ooh, before we hear from our friends over at Eternal Roofing, more news. It was actually going to take this segment until they popped that out on Sunday. We have re-upped for another year with Eternal Roofing. We will be completing that here soon. Taylor Anderson Company. I'm still not sure why. I don't know if it's probably you, Ben. You're the football knower.
I guess.
It's probably got to be you, man. But we're so grateful. We're so thankful. And to tell you more about them, here's an ad from our friends over at Eternal Roofing.
Eternal Roofing and General Contracting is your choice for integrity work in the Texas Hill Country. Taylor Anderson crew provide experienced quality roofing services with a mission of roofing with faith, serving with integrity, and sheltering homes in the spirit of stewardship. Don't just take our word for it. Here's what satisfied customer Pamela Allen had to say about Eternal Roofing. They did a great job on our patio roof, came out quick for a quote. The quote was very reasonable, and they started and finished work well and quickly. Not a bad thing to say about Eternal Roofing. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email them taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
Super excited to continue our partnership with Eternal Roofing. They've been here since the beginning, Ben. Taylor was on it right away.
Yeah, well, and you know what this means. We get to continue to push these Christmas lights for another couple months.
Oh, I look forward to that. Everybody knows I do. Everyone loves to hear me talk about the Christmas lights. But we have a football game to review. Let's get into this here Western Kentucky led 7-3 at the end of the first quarter after Maverick McIver threw a 26-yard touchdown pass to Matthew Henry. And R.J. Lopez got the Cats on the board with a 40-yard field goal. Chris Lewis and Robert Turbin were on the call for this game on CBS Network. And the highlight by far of the first quarter was Hunter Watson reminding us why he's so fun to watch when he flattened a KU defender during a quarterback run. Let's listen.
On third down for Sam Houston.
It's been a lot of third and long so far for the Bearcats. A draw. Watson lowers the shoulder, keeps on going. And that's what Bearcats fans loved last season at the quarterback spot.
Who doesn't love when your quarterback goes in there, shoulders a dude, spins, looks at him like, yo, fool, why you on the ground, and then keeps running?
Yeah.
I don't think Coach Longo likes that.
Yeah, well, I was going to say it's a love-hate relationship. I think you love the result and the way it looked, but not the possible outcome. And I was up in the press box, and you could hear that one from up there.
No, that was as solid as it comes, and I would not recommend many of those. But Longo did talk about it in his press conference yesterday. He talked about how it's a catch-22, right? Like, he's aggressive. He trusts his feet, and he's wanting him at times to trust his ability to throw and get it out to the athlete's hands and let someone else get it instead of just taking off. And I think I don't know that it's even so much the running. I think it's the fact that he thinks he's a fullback out there.
Yeah, and he took a couple shots. He also had that one on the late hit. That was a huge shot out of bounds. And with the way he plays, it's just a part of the game. And who knows if he stays healthy for 12 games. We'll see, but he wasn't able to last year. If I had to bet, it probably wouldn't, or it's probably not going to happen this year, just knowing the way he runs.
Man, are you good at gambling or what? Watson kept on running into the second quarter, and he gave the Cats a 10-7 lead on this 55-yard touchdown.
The new look offense for the Bearcats, or what they're dubbing the Aircats now with the air raid. Wow. But it's Watson on the ground and plenty of space. No one around him. Off to the races and takes it to the house. Forget the aerial attack. 54 yards.
Aircats my ass. We run the ball around here at Sam Houston. Beautiful run. And honestly, first off, I think that was zero coverage. I'm pretty sure that was a zero coverage there. And he read that beautifully. But not only that, that was like the sea just parted for him up the middle. But
yeah.
Great job blocking.
I do agree. It looked like zero coverage, man-to-man, one-on-one across the board, and the one linebacker kind of in the middle of the field went out wide with the running back that kind of split out wide, and the Red Sea just kind of opened up the middle.
It did, and I tell you, in the chat with the CUSA podcast roundtable guys, I was like, how do you not have a spy? I don't care if you're in zero coverage. You have a spy on Hunter Watson. You know what he could do, and he just trucked one of your guys.
Yeah, and I think teams going forward, if they haven't already planned for it, they will be using a spy because he will make you pay with his legs.
Yeah, and when you show a core, and he read that. He read cover zero from the start. I don't know if that was something he audibled to or if that was the call from the sideline, because if that's a call from a sideline, to know that's cover zero, that's even better. But he read that. He saw it. He took off. Man, I wouldn't cover zero that guy.
No, you can't.
No, it's – you know what? It's dangerous to play man against Hunter Watson.
Yeah.
At all, because you got to turn your back to the line of scrimmage and he can take off.
Yeah, and it felt like WKU adjusted kind of throughout the night. I don't think you scored the last quarter and a half, but I think he started the game 7 of 8, throwing the ball, and then he had that huge run, and I think 80 of his rushing yards within the first quarter and a half. I mean, he was incredible in the first half for the most part.
He was. I'm afraid they start playing more zone defense against him. That could cause some issues, and then he's going to need to lean on his arm a little bit more. Western Kentucky, they came back. They took a 14-10 lead on a 1-yard run by Lavelle Wright. John Cannon extended the lead to 20-10 with field goals from 49 and 42 yards. But WKU received some help from the Cats after a decision to try and convert a 4th down and 1 from the Cats' own 34-yard line with 6 minutes to play in the first half, trailing 14-10. Let's listen to what happened here.
I don't agree with this call.
He will run it, and he's pushed back, doesn't get there. Western Kentucky, it's a new year. The run defense is strong when they need it. Jalen Western makes a play, and Western Kentucky takes over in great field position.
I didn't agree with that call either, Robert Turbin.
Yeah. I mean, you go 5 wide with a 4th and 1, and it's just Hunter back there. You realize he's 99%. There's a 99% chance he's the one with the ball. He's just going to try to run it up the middle and gain 1 yard. And Longo post game said that call was on him, that decision. So, yeah, it's a learning moment. It's part of the game management as a head coach. We talked about it a little bit last week, how you handle those situations. And I don't necessarily hate going for it. I just don't think that's the call. And you showed that kind of I formation wing T a couple times. I think that formation would have worked really well right there.
Listen, I agree. First off, it felt desperate. That's the way it came off to me at the time. And still today, I see it as a desperate call, right? The other team just took the lead. We got to respond. No, you're inside your own 40. You've got 6 minutes. Punt the ball. Your defense wasn't playing horrible at that point. Let's see if we can get to half. Maybe they kick another field goal. You're down 6 instead of 10.
Yeah.
And then the play call.
That's the biggest issue I had with it.
It is by far the biggest issue. Isn't the decision to go? I can kind of get that. But you're calling a play. Look, man. Everyone knows you're running you're not going to throw that ball. You're not. You're not going to do it.
It was shortly after the big run too, so I mean it was pretty obvious where the ball was going.
Yeah, and so if you need a yard, the other team also knows you need that yard. You need to get in there and go power. You need because I don't know if you noticed, but that nose took 2 Sam Houston defenders right back into Hunter Watson.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was talking about last week. They had a couple 320, 330s at nose tackle, and it showed up there.
It certainly did, but 20-10 at halftime. What were your thoughts at that point then?
It kind of felt like the game was starting to slip away. You went up 10-7. WKU finished on a 13-0 run. You had that 4th down debacle. The defense was starting to fade a little bit. But all in all, you got the ball to start the second half. You weren't in a terrible position, but it definitely felt like momentum was starting to swing towards WKU.
Oh, ye of little faith. The Cats come out in the second half, and they come out on a mission. Alton McCaskill takes the handoff on the first play, sets the tone early with an extremely physical run. Let's watch this one.
To start the second, Alton McCaskill runs through a couple of tackles, tough to bring down.
That's the first play of the second half. He goes running right through a couple of hilltoppers on his way, Ben. That just set the stage.
Yeah, and that drive was the Alton McCaskill drive. It was him.
Here comes the next play. Let's watch this one.
It is the air raid offense. But they want to be able to run the ball like this. McCaskill navigates near side. Does he have the strides? Not quite, but still a huge chunk on the ground.
Chris Lewis twice. He says air raid, and they break off a big run. Yeah. Air raid my ass, Chris Lewis.
Yeah, I was going to say too. That was. It goes kind of unnoticed, but that was really good vision by McCaskill. It looks like the run is kind of through the A gap. He takes 1/2 a second, slides over to the left, finds the opening, and just hits it. So I mean, it was good vision on that one right there.
52 yards later, the Cats were inside the Hilltoppers' 10-yard line. And you know what? There was no reason to give the ball to anyone else. So why not let McCaskill finish it off with a 1-yard touchdown? And in true McCaskill style on that drive, it was a physical touchdown.
Under center on 1st and goal. Here's McCaskill, blasts his way through. Alton McCaskill, touchdown, Sam Houston. What a way to strike to begin the second half.
Holy smokes, Ben, did you see? They have a power set.
That's what, yeah, I don't know. What, I formation, wing T, power, whatever. I mean, that's the kind of formation you should have gone to on 4th and inches.
They had 2 H-backs
Yeah.
on that play. A tailback, 2 H. You have essentially 7 offensive linemen in the game right there. And I've seen the Cowboys do that too. And look, Mike McCarthy ain't, he's pretty good at offense. He can't tell time crap, but that's a whole nother issue. The Cats pull within 3, right? The defense, they saw what just happened. They got inspired. They took the field. They immediately created a turnover when Alonzo Edwards Jr. laid the absolute wood to the WKU receiver, and Jamire Diaz scooped the ball, took it 43 yards to the house.
And he's playing McIver the day after his 25th birthday. A veteran at quarterback on the drag route. Barry's tagged immediately. The ball's out. And Sam Houston has it, no whistle. And scooting to the end zone, Jamire Diaz.
Ooh, well, suddenly Sam Houston has the lead, and gamblers everywhere are starting to sweat a little bit, Ben.
Yeah, that was, I mean, the whole place was stunned, and WKU really was too. Even the guys on the field, they thought it was incomplete, then they thought he stepped out of bounds. Nobody on the offensive side really tried to stop him. It was just kind of a, I don't know, free pathway to the end zone for him. But yeah, the defense struggled quite a bit, as we thought it would, but they laid a couple hits too. I mean, they had a couple really physical hits that night, and that one played a big part in the game with the scoop and score.
Alonzo Edwards Jr. on that hit was absolutely clinical. Everything looked clinical about that hit. Shoulder to the ball, just waylaid the receiver with it, and it was totally fair. It was in the gut.
Yeah, well, he needed that one too. It was a rough night in coverage for Alonzo. He was the one matched up with Matthew Henry, the star receiver for WKU. So yeah, Alonzo made a great play there. It was a rough night in coverage, but that was obviously a huge play.
Don't blame that guy because he can't hang with D2 guys. Come on, man. That gave Sam Houston a 24-20 lead just over 3 minutes into the second half. And then reality came crashing down on the Cats. Maverick McIver threw 2 touchdown passes, added a 4-yard touchdown run. Western Kentucky walks away with a 41-24 victory. And here's what head coach Phil Longo had to say after the game.
Thoughts on the game?
Getting asked those questions right after the game is frustrating because you want to go watch the film. Right? I thought slow start offensively, without question. Didn't do a good job on first down. That was our problem most of the night. Thought Western Kentucky did a good job of keeping us behind the chains. Defensively, I thought they bailed us out at times. I thought they did a good job. Probably kept them on the field a little bit too much. We need to stay in some drives and play complementary football. And so tonight, just coming right off the field here, I thought we needed to do more to help the defense. I thought Hunter did a good job, made some good decisions, played hard, ran the ball well, threw the ball well. But we had some lack of execution on offense, and I think that'll be the point of emphasis here heading into week number 2.
Obviously, Coach, a lot of the talk about, quarterback. What were your impressions of Hunter tonight? What were you seeing from him that you liked?
With quarterback play, you don't see what's going on when he's out there with regards to decisions that he makes and things that he does. We have 3 or 4 plays he and I talked about on the sideline that we'd like to have back that we could manage better. Some of them are just damage control plays where the plan doesn't work. And instead of giving up the 7-yard sack, you get rid of the football. There's just sometimes an incomplete is your friend. So there's things that we can take and we can learn from that we'll teach off of, and we'll ultimately get better next week because he's a competitor and he prepares hard. But for his first day in this offense, I thought he threw it well. I thought he ran it well. And the part you don't see is he did a great job of making some decisions with regards to the play calls that are out on the field.
Benjamin?
Yeah, a couple big plays defensively, but what was your overall thoughts on how the defense played tonight?
I thought the defense played well. I thought we gave up some yardage at times, did a good job in the red zone. Came up some big plays in the second half to help us out a little bit. We went for it on the fourth down there. Didn't do a very good job there. The defense bailed us out. I think they gave up a field goal, which is really on me, not them. So overall, with so many new faces and a new system, I thought our guys played really physical. I thought we had a couple minor injuries in the secondary, so we had to roll through some depth there. So the fact that we've been given equal reps to the ones and twos benefited us tonight a little bit, just because those twos that came in actually did a good job and supported the rest of the defense. So overall, for opening day, I was pleased with what I saw defensively from an upside standpoint.
Yeah.
But we've got some execution things, special teams, offense, defense to work on all the way through before game 2 against UNLV.
Yep. And then running backs were heavily involved in the passing game tonight. Was that kind of by design, or did you want to get the wide receivers a little more involved than they were?
It's just it's a characteristic of the offense. I think the RBs did a good job. When they add defenders, double team guys, drop 8, 10, 12 yards and take away your wide receivers, the RBs become a huge factor. That's part of the offense. And, they did a good job with that piece of it. I think the best thing we could have done on offense was perform and execute better on first down. I thought we might have even gotten more out of the running backs than we did.
Appreciate it, Coach.
That was head coach Phil Longo after the game, his thoughts. And listen, there were a couple of comments in there about the timing of a post-game press conference, of not being able to see the film. He gave decent answers, but that attitude, Benjamin, it's time for me to have a solo talk with Coach Phil Longo. That attitude that you have had on multiple occasions with the media, it just doesn't need to happen. Listen, I know you don't want to talk to the media after a loss. No coach does. It's not ideal for any of us. I don't like interviewing coaches that lost either. Trust me. We all want you to win. It's much easier to write when you win, and it's so much easier to have a press conference when you win. Fact is, you don't always win. The other thing is, you wanted this job. You begged, you pulled all strings imaginable for this job. Part of this position you coveted is dealing with the media, like it or not. We're not expecting you or asking you to kiss our ass. I don't care. Admittedly, you know far more about football than us. I get it. All the writers wanted some respect. Understand we have a job to do. You don't have to enjoy this part of your job. We're not asking to be your friend. Just common courtesy. You spoke ad nauseum in the offseason about relationships with your players. The media can help spread your side of the story. The choice is yours. We'd much rather spread positivity about your program. Help us help you, Coach. We really can and want to help you. And that is Cory Hogue's Talk with Coach Longo. Benjamin, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of a rough go of it for everybody in the media, and not necessarily the availability or anything like that. It's just you get kind of especially leading up to the game, the hidden answers or lack thereof an answer, which is a little frustrating, and not a ton of transparency, which I get to a degree. And it's just a part of the job. I thought he had a good press conference yesterday, better one, revealing a little more info, being a little more personable kind of thing. I think I don't know. I was talking to you about it afterwards, and on the Bearcat Sports Network, their version of the interview that they published, I think it was just a little frustrating that, he walked up and said, let's get this done quick kind of thing, and clearly wanted to get it done quick. So it's part of the job. He'll learn. He's new to it. As long as you make improvements, that's the big thing. I mean, we want to help, like you said. We want the information, whatever it is. We want to tell the right side of the story. But yeah, like you said, watching the film, I know who you started with. It's frustrating getting asked questions because you just want to watch film kind of thing, which I get the frustration, and we just hope there's progress. And I think there was some yesterday.
We also know that you haven't had a chance to watch film 10 minutes after the game. We understand that. And he ain't the first, he ain't the last. But I think the thing is, some coaches have such the media gets a bad rap a lot of times. And look, there's times it's well deserved and well earned, but just like society, not everybody is that way. And so you don't need to treat us as if we've done something to you when yet we really haven't. All we want to do is we want to tell the narrative. And you know who sets the narrative? You do. Casey Keeler understood that beautifully. You could not talk to him in a press conference without him getting, you knew 3 or 4 times he would give you exactly the narrative that he wanted out there. And let me tell you something, as a writer during the national championship season, that made stories a hell of a lot of fun. It makes losing stories easier. You set the narrative. You do that. Think about that. Media relations is a skill, and I'm not saying that he's mean or any. He just may not have the media relations skills. Maybe that would be something to look into.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, time will tell as we go on. It's not a huge deal or factor to the play on the field. It's just a little thing.
It is.
In the media for us.
Oh, yeah, and it gives me something to complain about and
Yeah.
give a little talk to Coach Longo. Justin Hernandez over on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. He writes and asks, we'll give this one obviously to you, Ben, is WKU the real deal or just week 0 mishaps from Sam Houston to start the season to make them look stronger than they are?
I think it's a little of both. I mean, WKU, I think, is probably the number 2 or 3 team in Conference USA. They had questions coming in, but I mean, they might have had the most answers offensively with their quarterback and skill positions. And then, I mean, we were 3-9 in 2023, 9-3 last year, and you lost that entire 9-3 team. So to think you're just going to continue to be at that standard is just not necessarily the case. So I think it was WKU. They're a really good team. This is a team with a ton of unknowns for us. That isn't really the standard that we were accustomed to last year, which is fine. That's not always going to be the standard. So I think it's a little bit of both. WKU is a really good team. Sam Houston, it probably isn't the team that they had last year, and it's so early with so many new guys for us.
They had an advantage, right?
And you're on the road too. I mean,
you're on the road, but WKU had a head start in this because the quarterback and offensive coordinator had been together at Abilene Christian.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, when you're 25 playing against 19-year-olds, you do have an advantage.
Right. Yeah. Well, I know we're getting to the end of the WKU part. I think coming into WKU, we knew mostly what we were going to see offensively. I had preached it all summer long. They're going to run the ball. They ran it 31, passed it 30. But defensively, I thought it was about what we thought it would be. The run game or the run defense, the defensive line, the run game was actually good. I think they gave up 3.1 yards per carry, which is solid. But the pass pro defense is a massive concern. They rushed 3 all night, got no pressure up until the last drive or 2 of the game. And looking back at some of the stats, your top 3 defensive linemen played 45 plus snaps apiece. And that's why in the second half you started to wear down. And the DBs, which I know were the most highly regarded group on the defense, I mean, they just could not hold up. I mean, Maverick was getting to his 3rd, 4th read every play. And I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of that this year. I mean, the defensive line is just not going to be able to get any pressure, and in turn, it's going to really hurt the DB room. So those are just a couple like initial thoughts from WKU and what I saw on Saturday.
Kind of the defensive metrics, the grade or whatever they gave Sam Houston for that, especially defense. Because listen, the defensive backs you give 5 seconds. That's what you get. You've got to be at the quarterback in under 6 seconds.
Right.
If you're not getting any pressure on him and he's just sitting there looking around, they're going to eat you up. Any quarterback would. Last week, Maverick did. This week, whoever the heck UNLV has at quarterback would do the same thing.
Yeah, well, and I feel like a lot of quarterbacks are. And it's definitely a cause for concern. And even the linebacker group, I mean, they did an incredible job in the run game. I thought that's part of why they were so good in the run. Fish and Johnson and Tokyo Gordon did a great job, but I think it was the last touchdown on the back corner of the end zone. Antavius Fish got matched up one-on-one with the running back because he went cover zero and brought some pressure, and he just could not hold up. So it's definitely a huge cause for concern this year. You're not going to be able to get pressure unless you bring a ton of guys, and then you leave yourself exposed on the back end. And if you only bring 3, you're never going to get pressure, and you're not going to be able to hold up on the back end. So it's tough for the defense.
It is tough for the defense, and we have another thing that game that we were not going to really talk about much until the next segment, injury report. And there were some key injuries, some critical injuries to some key players too the other night for Sam Houston. Ben will give us an update after the press conference on that yesterday. But at first, if you're enjoying the show, help us grow. You can rate us, review, march to the pod on your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Podbean at marchtothepod.podbean.com. Find us on Twitter and Facebook at March to the Pod. March the number 2, the pod, all one word. We're a proud part of the Conference USA Podcast Roundtable with shows covering all 12 Conference USA programs. And as far as I'm aware, I haven't received a text yet. We're still proudly with Eternal Roofing, so let's hear some more from them.
Eternal Roofing only uses the finest materials in the roofing business while providing an exceptional warranty. Why do they use CertainTeed products? Because they complement any appearance, provide exceptional and reliable strength, and are known for their enduring performance. Here's what Shane Sosa had to say about Eternal Roofing. Taylor and his team are amongst the highest level of professionals. They care about their customers and go above and beyond just doing the job. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539 or email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com.
All right, the WKU game is over. It's time to move on this Friday night. It's a short week. You don't have to stew on this for a full 7 days. Friday, August 29th, 8:30 p.m. The UNLV Rebels come to Shell Energy Stadium in Houston to meet the Cats. Benjamin, did you know UNLV is mascotless?
Like as far as like a physical mascot?
That they don't have a mascot.
The Runnin' Rebels isn't...
They're the Rebels.
Okay.
Okay. They're known as the Rebels. That's their name. But there is no mascot. Hey Reb was their mascot. He got retired in January 2021. We know, right? We're not going to go into this. This is not a politics show. But the Rebels name remained. Just you also won't find any sign of Hey Reb because they also took down the statue on campus that was too Hey Reb. So they are a school without a mascot.
Hey, I did not know that.
Well, now you do. How about that? The game will air on CBS Sports Network again. Oh, once again, I need to make sure you understand it is not on CBS. It's on CBS Sports Network. This week, Rich Waltz is on the play-by-play. Robert Turbin is going to follow the team back to Texas. He may even got on the plane with him for analysis. And Tiffany Blagman's going to be reporting from the sidelines. Last week, UNLV comes in having just barely gotten by FCS Powerhouse, Idaho State, right?
Maybe regular Idaho is maybe a powerhouse, but I don't know about Idaho State.
Oh, no, the Bengals are not, but they near took down the Rebels. It was 38-31 last week. UNLV was on the ropes, and you're going to hear a common thing from me here as we go along through this preview and we get into the predictions. I did not know, and that's on me, that Dan Mullen is the head coach at UNLV. That changes my entire opinion about that program. Dan Mullen can't coach himself out of a wet paper bag. We've seen it.
Yeah,
now,
Florida.
Yeah, Mississippi State, right? Yeah. It's not great, but it is still a team that is expected to beat Sam Houston. Let's look at the series history. This is the first time these two teams will have met on the gridiron. Sam Houston returns. It's a home and home, and the return game at UNLV. It's in Allegiant Stadium, by the way, home of the Raiders. That's going to be one. Go ahead and get your tickets and credential in for that one. September the 17th, 2033. That is when they're going to return this game at UNLV. By then, Allegiant Stadium might be broken down.
Who knows what college football looks like? I can almost guarantee that game will not be played.
Yeah, 18 players from Texas on UNLV's roster, so that's going to be a big part for them. They'll have some fans there if they've got that many players from Texas. And Sam Houston playing in Houston, 1927-1 all time. But that's just what I'm telling. We got press conferences to hear what the coaches actually think. And let's start with what I found extremely interesting. Bill Longo talking about playing at Shell Energy Stadium.
You know, I smile when you say home because, you know, we're going through the travel arrangements for this game, much like we did for Western Kentucky. There won't be a flight involved, but you know, we still have to travel and the away hotel and all that stuff. It'll be home from a sense of playing in Houston, you know, playing in front of a lot of Sam Houston alum and football alum. So the crowd will be a home crowd. We won't be any more used to the stadium or the locker room or the way the stadium operates than UNLV will, because this team hasn't played there yet. Our staff has been through there one time just to see what it looked like and try to get some of the logistical things squared away, but it'll be our first experience in that stadium as well. It's going to come down to us just taking care of business on the field. The rest of the logistical stuff is it's excuses. You know, we have to get there, we got to set up, and we got to get locked in. Go play football. At the end of the day, it's what you do between the whistles.
Benjamin, if I'm not mistaken, Sam Houston is paying good money to play at Shell Energy this year.
A lot, yeah. I think it's $450,000, and then you have a bunch of fees and grass and turf stuff you got to pay too.
And you couldn't even, because Texas Southern plays on that same turf Saturday night against Prairie View, right?
Yep.
But you couldn't. You charge this much, you get to, and you can't give them a practice. They should have at least in the camp. There needed to be a day that they had a practice at Shell Energy as if it was like a game day.
It's a good idea. I know the University of Missouri went to FCS Lindenwood about an hour and a half down the road and did a mock game. I've heard of a lot of colleges and pro teams doing that. So, yeah, I think it would have been a good idea. Who knows if – I mean, it was probably on Shell's side that wasn't allowed. So who knows? But the biggest thing that I took away from it is they are treating this game just like they did the SFA game or the NRG game in the past. They're going to get a hotel down there, so they're probably heading down there tomorrow around dinner time, something like that, get checked in, and then they're going to spend the day in Houston on Friday before playing the game that night. So, it's going to be like 12 road games because you're in a hotel before every single one of them.
Yes, but and I get that, but I also hear a lot of coaches say they prefer road games. I know they complain when they don't get to home games, but then coaches love going on the road because they can control what time they go to sleep. They control what these guys get to eat the night before. Not as big at D1 as it is at the other levels that I cover that are lower, obviously. But that is a thing, and I don't know that I'd go Thursday. I think I would drive down there Friday afternoon, have dinner, check in, have dinner, and get a good night's rest, team meetings, whatever, and wake up Saturday. Or no, I'm sorry, the game's Friday. So yeah, I would. Never mind. Cory's out on cloud nine right now. Never mind.
Well, in a standard week, that's how. That's how.
Standard week.
Oh, we might have lost Cory. I think we lost him. So I guess I will take it from here. He's still out of it. as I pull up the script and take host duties. He's still got himself muted now.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
You got me?
Yeah, I was about to start rambling.
I heard. I got concerned. I had to get back in.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Well, Dan Mullen. By the way, you want to? I talked about Longo's press conferences. Thank God I don't have to listen to Dan Mullen every week. I'm just seriously like listening. I was flipping through that. It was something. And so he didn't. No one asked him a question about the Sam Houston game.
Yeah.
No one. So here is what Mullen had to say about the road game.
Obviously getting ready, little different challenge going on the road this week, again, with a new team. I looked at something the other day, right? And that was amazing, which the big growth. Like if you take our 25 starters, like the 11 offense, 11 defense, the 3 specialists, am I right on, so 23 of them, there was first-time starters of the 25 for us. So that was interesting. But that experience, and this will be a different one this week. Every week is going to kind of the interesting part by mid-season, obviously, then everybody's a returning starter, right? I mean, they have that experience. They've been in different scenarios, different situations. Obviously, this one for us, the first experience, all of us going on the road together. It's on kind of a short week. We play late Friday night, so I guess by measurement of the clock, I mean, it's like a 16-hour, shorter week or something, but in sleep time, it's very different.
Seriously, watching a press conference with him is like watching someone chase squirrels, man.
I was going to say, it's a lot of words to say a whole bunch of nothing.
And that's the entire I mean, they talk about their team a lot, and there was a lot to talk about with UNLV, so they didn't get too much about the Bearkats. But that the 23 first-time starters, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. Well,
that tells you a lot. And then you put 23 first-time starters with the coaching ability of Dan Mullen, and you got catastrophe waiting to happen.
It almost happened last week. Yeah.
It almost did. Will it happen this week? That's the next segment, isn't it?
It is.
But until then, we got to finish up here with our preview. This is what Phil Longo had to say about UNLV. This is just over a minute long.
So UNLV is long, and they've got some speed on both sides of the ball. They have some athletes. I think talent-wise they are comparable to what we just played, but they're very different than Western Kentucky. These guys they're taller, they're longer across the board, and they're going to be able to close space. When they're tracking you, and just because of their range, they'll squeeze some windows, and they'll be a little bit harder to block destruct. So it'll be an athletic challenge, I think, for our football team. It'll be nice to play a semi-home game, right? We still have to travel and go through all the logistics of an away deal, but it's a much shorter travel, so we'll enjoy playing here in our home state, and we'll certainly be amongst our own alum and our fans and all that being in the middle of Houston. So it's a game where we got to really focus more on ourselves and clean up the things that we did not execute well last week. I think it'll be more about that part of it heading into this UNLV game than it will necessarily what UNLV is doing.
UNLV, long, fast. Honestly, I don't know much about either team going into this game.
Yeah, it's tough to know. I mean, UNLV, I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago in the schedule preview. They were like a dark horse team to make the playoff, which maybe they still are if they can gel 23 new guys. I think they might be a little better than they were last week, but huge concern for them defensively. I mean, I really like what they have offensively, but giving up almost 600 yards to Idaho State and just a ton of blown assignments was not good. So we'll see. We'll see if it comes together. I like what they have offensively. Not a big fan of what they have defensively. Does it sound a lot like the team from Huntsville?
Yeah, he could get points. And when I was doing predictions, it was hard for me to not just go blow it out the water with points, because I mean, it can happen fast with these two teams, I feel like.
Yeah, no, it can.
What else you got on their offense?
Yeah, I think the biggest question really for the team as a whole and on the offense is the quarterback position. Alex Orji got the start last week. He was the Michigan transfer who started a couple games at Michigan last year. Didn't really pan out. He made it about a series and a half, then got benched for Anthony Calandria, who started 17 games at Virginia the 2 years prior to that, or prior to this year. And he looked really good, had almost 100 yards rushing, had almost 200 yards passing. And the offense was dynamic with him in there. A guy that didn't use his legs a ton at Virginia, used them a lot last week. They've got some good weapons that they brought back. I forget the name of the running back, but he had 900 yards rushing last year, had over 100 last week. So the offense is going to be explosive. I know Dan Mullen in his press conference also said they're going to play both quarterbacks again, and he wouldn't commit to a starter. But if I had to pick, it's probably Anthony Calandria. But yeah, explosive offense. It's just a matter of who they start, but I think it's Calandria.
Defensively, they're just bad.
Yeah, I mean, to Longo's point, I mean, on paper, and if you look at them, they're long, physical, fast, but if they're anything like what they were last week, they're not going to be good. In the Sam Houston offense, we were high on it, but they only scored 14 points really last week. They got gifted the punt that was dropped, and they kicked the field goal pretty much right where it was. They got the scoop and score. So the offense really only scored 14, so there's still something to be desired from the Sam Houston offense, but I think they're still going to be able to move the ball pretty efficiently against UNLV.
I think so too. We have predictions and a lot more to talk about, but it is August 27th. This coming up weekend, if I remember correctly, because I don't even these like blow by me. I think it's Labor Day this weekend. It's a holiday for a lot of people.
Yeah.
If you aren't on the Christmas list, the Christmas lights list, it is a list. And you need to get on at Eternal Roofing because September, you're starting to cut it close.
Yeah. Like we said, November last year, they were full.
They were full. Hey, I'm telling you, you're cutting it close. Here's how you could get on that list for your Christmas lights.
Eternal Roofing is locally owned and dedicated to giving back to the community by supporting local organizations and charities. They are also the winner of Next Door's Neighborhood Faves for 2 consecutive years. And as you know, if you've listened to this podcast, Eternal Roofing is your choice for Christmas lights. They provide premium lights tailored to fit your home, season-long maintenance, and hassle-free removal. Kyle Tatum said, "They're very professional and great quality, on time and clean, and really made me feel like they cared for me and my home." Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
Before we get into predictions, we're going to check in with Ben and let him tell us about the latest from the Cat Fund events initiatives and how you can support the Bearcat athletics.
Yeah, there we go. cat-fund.com. You can support Sam Houston's NIL collective for as little as $10 a month. We've got our basketball, golf tournament, casino night, and auction coming up the first weekend in October. We're going to have a golf event in November, which info should be out about here pretty soon. All Cat Fund members get discounted access into those events. Had a lot of exclusive insider info before the first football game leading up to it. Had the quarterback news on there almost a week before the game, so we have that in there too. So definitely want to sign up, support the team, support the athletes, and then you get really cool stuff in return also, like stuff I just mentioned, and merch, apparel, stickers, all that kind of good stuff.
Dude, did you see how good the producer just did?
That was great.
Like,
Better
I
than
know
last
you
week.
were busy talking about Cat Fund. I was busy looking at how good I was doing.
And when last week it was you on the screen while I was talking, so it's a step in the right direction.
Oh no, that's a big step in the right direction if they're not having to look at me alone on the screen. All right. Time for predictions. We're going to run through this relatively quickly because we don't want to keep you too much longer. Nevada, Las Vegas at Sam Houston, 8:30 p.m. Friday night, CBS Sports Network. Season records. Well, WKU last week. Let's look at that one first. WKU -10, total 60.5. Ben had Western Kentucky winning. We talked about that. Enough celebration for Ben. Enough of that stuff. Good Lord, Yeah.
I'll take it.
Cory had Western Kentucky winning 30-23. Yeah, there you go. Ben is 1-0 against the spread, 1-0 total. Cory 0-1 on both. So that is where we stand coming into this week. Now, Vegas lines, this is all via Bet365. It opened UNLV -13.5 with a total of 58.5. After last week's showings, it's now UNLV 9.5. It's been bet down 4 points off of the 2 touchdowns, and the total has been bet up to 62.5 with questions about defense on both sides. Vegas projection has UNLV winning 35.5-26. And look, I know there is no half point unless, UNLV puts one out there, right, Tepper? I'm just saying.
I saw that.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I thought that was hilarious. So Vegas has UNLV 35.5-26 winners. Ben, what do you have to say?
Yeah, so I had the over from the beginning, still have the over. I had Sam Houston covering the original line. I've got them just outside of it now. I have UNLV 45-35. And so it's a 10-point margin, which has UNLV covering by half a point, the non-existent half a point. So going to go way over with 80. I think that's pretty clearly the play with both of these defenses, and I think the tempo is going to be high, a lot of points scored. But similar to last week, I just don't think Sam Houston has the depth that a UNLV team has, and it's going to show up towards the end. And so I'm going to go 45-35 UNLV.
All right. Ben, 45-35. Now, I went a couple of different ways throughout the day with this. First, I said, well, I think this, right? And then I went, but wait a minute, wait. If Vegas said initially 14, maybe that's how good UNLV really is. So then I started thinking maybe they could cover that 9.5 pretty easily because I think we're all set that it's going to go over this week.
Yep.
So then I had lunch. But during lunch, Ben, I had another thought, and that thought was, my God, Dan Mullen is the coach of UNLV. He's got 23 starters that have never played together on the road. It's their first road start. Dan Mullen can't coach. Surely Sam Houston could win. Couldn't quite get that far. I can't get that far, Benjamin, but I'm going UNLV 38, Sam Houston 34. That's where I'm going. I think it's going to be close. Honestly, I really would like a 45-42 game right now because I really think the points could be that high.
Yep.
But then Sam Houston does run the ball well. Dan Mullen will run the ball some. I'm going 72 points. I'm going Sam Houston covers and the over. Ben has UNLV covering and the over as well.
I mean, this is just so weird picking these overs for these totals after the past 2 years. I mean, we had, a 10-7 game, 9-3 game last year, some other just really low-scoring games. It's just so weird to be predicting these kind of scores.
It's the air raid, man, right? Isn't that what it is?
The Bearkats, right?
The Bearkats.
Yeah.
Chris Lewis ain't back. We get Turbin back this week.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, that's a wrap for this episode of March to the Pod presented by Eternal Roofing. Thank you for joining us, whether you're watching us on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, or listening to us wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much. We're going to come back next week with more Bearcat athletics coverage. Until then, Benjamin, take us home.
Eat 'em up, Cats. Score early, score often, score a lot, and score more than UNLV.
Score.